Okay, class, so today we're going to go over how to write two-step equations from a word problem. Now, in order to do this, we have to notice that this is going to be in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept, and mx is going to be our constant. Okay, our constant of proportionality, meaning whether we're multiplying or dividing by this specific number. Now, it's usually in a specific format, so your b is always going to be that value that you're either adding or subtracting, and your m is going to be that value that you're either multiplying or dividing. So as you're reading the question, just be conscious about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write my form y equals mx plus b. Okay, now it says, Teresa signs up for a membership to rent video games. The company charges $5 per month. That means each month they're going to charge $5 and $2 per video game. Graph a linear relationship between the number of game Teresa rents and her monthly cost. So I'm only doing this for 1 month. Okay, so our monthly cost is already fixed at $5. That's just a set number. That's just a number it's always going to be. So for my b, I'm going to go ahead and write 5 because I have to add 5 to that amount. Now, my mx, or my constant of proportionality, is going to be that $2 per video game. Is because I have to pay $2 per video game. The amount of video games I buy is going to be this x value, and I have to pay $2 for every x value that I buy. So we're going to go ahead and finish the equation. Y equals 2x plus 5. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and see. As you can see, it starts off as plus 5. So whenever our x is equal to 0, we're just going to go ahead and get that 5 back. So let's go ahead and plug in. 5 plus 2 times 1 is going to be equal to 7. 5 times 2 times 2, because I'm running 2 video games, is going to be 5 plus 4, which is equal to, what's 5 plus 4? 9. And then we're going to have 3, so this is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 5, which is going to give us 11, and then we have 5 plus 2 times 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and then we have 8 plus 5, which is going to give us 13. Okay, so if you look at our ordered pairs, we have 0, 5, we have 1, 7, we have 2, 3, and then we have 3, 11, 2, 9. Then we have 3, 11, and then we have 4 and 13. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to graph this. Now notice, I'm just going from a word problem, I'm turning it into an equation. I'm using that equation to make a table, and I'm using that table to make a graph. In the next couple of examples, though, we'll only go through the equation, but I just want you guys to know where these numbers are coming from and what we're going to actually do with them. So 0, 5 is my first ordered pair, and then we have 1 and 7. So this is going by a scale of 5, so this is going to be about 8, so maybe 7 will be right here. Then we have 2 and 9, so 2 and 9 will be right here. Then we have 3 and 11, so 3 and 11 is just slightly above 10. And then next we have 4 and 13. So 13 will be right here in the middle. As you can see, it forms a straight line. If you go ahead and try to put a line through that, my line isn't straight, but it does form a straight line because this is a linear equation. Okay, so let's go over a few more examples, but we're only going to focus on just writing the equations for now. So here are 4 of them. Okay, so remember, we need the form y equals mx plus b. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. Y equals mx plus b. So we're adding a number or subtracting a number, and then we're multiplying a number depending on the quantities that we have. So let's go ahead and see. Anthony runs a bicycle courier company that charges $3 per delivery plus 50 cents per mile. Okay? Write an equation to describe the linear relationship. Well, I know that it's going to be 3 orders per delivery. So let's just say I'm just trying to figure out my delivery amount. I know that they charge 50 cents per mile. Okay, so depending on the amount of miles I have X, they're going to charge me 50 cents. I already know that I'm automatically going to be charged a $3 fee. That's just the amount I'm going to be charged. Okay, it doesn't matter how many miles I go or how many miles the delivery is, I'm still going to have to pay that $3. That is my fixed cost. That is my constant. That does not change. So now my equation is going to be y equals 0.5x plus 3. This will be my final answer. Okay, now let's try the one to the bottom. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and write my equation, y equals mx plus b. The temperature of a pot of water is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so this looks like we're starting with a constant. The temperature increases by 20 degrees Fahrenheit per minute. So this is changing. So this is going to be my variable. This is going to go with my mx. Okay, so it's going to be 20 feet per minute. Minute is our x. We don't know how many minutes. We do know that the temperature of the pot is currently 45 degrees. That's what it started off as, 45 degrees. Okay, so my equation is going to be y equals 20x plus 45. Let's go ahead and try another example. A bamboo reed is planted when it is 12 centimeters tall. It grows 2.2 centimeters per week. Okay, so go ahead and write my equation, y equals mx plus b. I know for sure that this is changing per week. So since this value is changing, it's going to be my variable. Okay, so it changes by 2.2 per x per week. I know that it was 12 centimeters tall when planted, so that's its starting amount. I can't change that amount. Okay, so it looks like my formula is going to be equal to y equals 2.2x plus 12. Alright, so hopefully you guys are starting to get the hang of it. If you want, take a second to pause the video in order to try to figure out what this one will be. So, first I'm going to go ahead and write my equation. Charlie starts with $350 in his savings account. Okay, so he starts with this. This amount isn't changing at all. Okay? So it looks like that might be my b value, which is my y-intercept. So, but let's go ahead and continue reading. He withdraws $15 per week. So this amount is changing depending on the week, on the amount of weeks. All right, so he withdraws $15 per week from his account, and of course withdrawing means to take away, so it's going to be a negative value. Representing the relationship using a table, an equation, and a graph. Okay, so here we're just going to focus on an equation, but what I want is for you guys to draw a table and then draw a graph afterwards of this relationship. You'll just have to plug in some values for x. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a try. I know 350 is what he started off with, so that amount isn't going to be changing. That's how he starts his savings account. Next, he's going to withdraw $15 per week from his account. So instead of writing 15x, he's subtracting, which is withdrawing. So I'm going to write negative 15x. So my equation is going to be y equals minus 15x plus 350. Now here, I just like to rewrite my equation different because I don't like seeing that negative sign first. So I'm going to change it to y is equal to 350 minus 15x. And both of these equations work. Okay? That's it. So in class, we're going to go ahead and practice a few of these, and then later on in the week, we're going to go ahead and start to plug in some values for x in order to figure out y, and then we're going to work backwards as well, finding some values of y, and then figuring out what that x value is.